welcome to our third video for solar plexus and xiphoid. So by now, if you've been practicing your root and sacral dances, the channel of energy should be opening up nice and wide in order to get up to our solar plexus, which is our fire center. So whereas we had the root, which is more masculine energy, the sacral is more in the feminine and connected with our creativity and the mother and the female line. Our solar plexus is our connection with the masculine and father and the masculine line. And if you think of the flow of the energy and flow of emotions from your sacral, those waters surround the masculine. And if you think of it as the kind of literally how the female body surrounds the masculine, it's in that similar way. We're gaining and drawing on our inner power and our inner strength of the masculine within us, and while we draw on that, it's supported by the feminine. And by integrating both of those, we can then create magic. And these three lower chakras are more connected with the physical and the physical world, physical body. And in our next video, when we go to the heart, it's the bridge between the physical and the spiritual. They also will work in partners. So if you think of the phrase that most people know from the Bible, but actually it comes from something much older called the Emerald Tablets. And it appears in many, many things, and it's the saying, as above, so below. So I think of it in terms of your chakras working in partners. So we've got our root with the crown. The more grounded you are, the more deeply rooted you are, the more you can open up into the etheric. With the sacral and our third eye, sacral, as I said in the last video, it's also linked with the throat, especially as women, for our expression of our sensuality and our creativity. Our sacred feminine with our third eye, which is our intuition and our psychic awareness and our deep inner wisdom and truth. So our solar is linked again with the throat. So it's finding our power and our lion's roar. So this is one, especially for women, that is often quite depleted, because we kind of hold ourselves back, or we are experiencing other people kind of holding us back and pushing us down and feeling powerless against that, especially maybe in the workplace or within families, and how society is set up and the way that we're conditioned to step back and keep quiet about what we feel and what we want to do with our life. So we're just going to begin weaving this energy with our hands up from our root, weaving up into our sacral, into our solar. And then we also have our upper solar, which is a more newly found chakra or energy point, and it's called the XIPHOID or XIPHOID. So the tip of our sternum, the name of it is called the XIPHOID or XIPHOID process. And strangely, I did GCSE PE, and for some reason that name always stuck in my mind and fascinated me of what is that thing. So it's the tip point of this bone and where our diaphragm connects in. So if you put your fingers here and rub a little bit and cough, you'll feel that muscle pushing out. If you just try it a few times. Now this is the point of our original masculine wounding, if you like, and the point where we experience separation from source, from God, goddess, however you want to think of it, from the separation of oneness. And this is where we carry this wound, and also our fears as well, and maybe fears that we don't even understand why we have them. So this is also a very, very important one. And if you lie down, you can push more deeply here Just be careful it's on the softer part, not on the bone. And just kind of wriggle around with it, and it is usually very tender, especially if you've never worked on this point before, and it can bring up a lot of stuff emotionally. So we're going to work between these two today. So if you think of this fire that we've been building like a bellows from the base and all the way up, and we need that fire to melt through and burn through the blockages that most of us carry around our heart. So if you think of ice surrounding this area with all of the experiences that you have had or you've wanted to have, all of the disappointments and the hurts and the stories that we're carrying in our heart, it can take quite a lot to jump from this more physical solar, and that's why we need the masculine to kind of power through those blockages and the ice and get across that boundary from the physical and across this bridge and up into the spiritual. So we keep weaving, and just realising, thinking of the other videos and the solar being connected with the throat, I'm talking much more than usual. So this is something to also be aware of, because I've been caught out a few times where my throat has got so activated that I've gone, I don't know, into a conversation or something after working on solar in the throat, and all kinds of things are jumping out of my mouth, which has got me into trouble. So just something to be aware of. Okay, so weaving, if you think of that kind of DNA looping up, and weaving with your hips from left to right, right to left. Breathing continuously, so there's no pause between your in and out breath. And you might find that you want to make sounds as well as your breathing, or to make the breathing stronger, like trying to open your mouth wider. Imagine that you're weaving a golden light between your kidneys and between your ovaries and across your belly button. So that your whole lower body is an infinity loop, loops over and over of golden light. And then just have a shake. Allowing your pelvis to move more. So we're going to use our pelvis to draw and push our flame up, but not only with our kind of lower body here, but also into our solar and xiphoid. So when you draw in, you're drawing in. So it's not to collapse your chest too much, but it just will drop a little bit, so that you're really activating into this center here. So it will be breathing in with your belly open, and then as you breathe out, so it's like a squeeze, squeeze with 2 breaths. So breathing in, so that your whole lower body is contracted, and also your bum as well, and your pelvic floor. And you'll probably find that you're going to get really hot doing this. So breathing in, use your fists to direct where you want that fire and that energy to go to. So keep doing that movement and also using your throat. So you're opening and contracting your throat at the front and the back. And again, beginning to weave. Tracing with your fingers all the way up, spiraling around and in. Beginning to circle your hips. And using your other hand to frame and contain the energy. And you can begin to go deeper and deeper, pushing into your belly, into that point. Feeling in, and it may be that you want to use all your fingers and your thumb, like this, or maybe one finger, or just your thumb. Back to the center and shimmy in your hips and visualize that from your root is shooting up red light up into your sacral, and then from your sacral is shooting up orange light, and this red and orange shooting up together like sparks of a flame up into your solar to ignite that sunshine and that fire, so it begins to spread across your belly. Shake. Now the most obvious thing when you think of working with the masculine is that you need to do something that's strong and very hard hitting and powerful, and sometimes that is needed as well, but actually if you think of almost like you're going around the back door, so it's like in a soft way, but like an arrow. So you have a direct target, but there's a softness surrounding it. And this is the way to really get into the depths of your solar. So instead of thinking that you have to attack it and break it, how can your entrance point be direct and yet soft? So from our hips coming up into our whole body, weaving from side to side. And let your head and your arms flow with it. So this wave is Just going completely through your whole body. And just with your hands, your hips weaving. And it's not just about activating the strength of the masculine within us, it's also about recognizing our shadow masculine. And this is something for me recently, which was an experience that I had teaching a training. And it was something very, very soft, something that I didn't even realize was there, and I couldn't quite put my fingers on it. And I was thinking, is this to do with relationships or my dad, or I couldn't really work out what it was. And then I realised that it was all the times that I've had to be the toxic masculine, me as a woman at points in my life, especially working as a dancer. How have I had to embody that and be that for survival, basically. And it was something I just didn't even know that it was there. And when it released, it was almost like I couldn't grasp what it was. And 2 weeks later, I'm still trying to work it, well, not work it out, but let it be and recognise it. So this is something to explore in yourself, and it doesn't necessarily mean that it's something bad in you, but we all have a light and shadow of the masculine and feminine within us. Not only what we're carrying from family and from society, but also the situations that we've been in and that we've created as well. So think of this sacred masculine and this fire. It's like a baby that needs comforting and rocking. Rocking your body, rocking your whole body. And as you rock this energy center, it begins to loosen and shift. And we can then begin to pull out and name situations or persons that in times where we've felt disempowered. Where have we disempowered ourselves? Is this from partners, from fathers, from our jobs, from how we've limited ourselves? Where are all those places where we haven't been able to say no? And some of those times are where we could have said no, but we still restricted ourselves, and other times we just weren't able to. So from the front and the back, pulling out, and this may take some time and probably several thousand times of doing it, to really think of those hooks and tentacles which are literally draining your power. They could be from the sides as well of your solar, and throwing what you're discarding back into the earth. It's also good if you can speak it out loud. Who is it? What is it? What do you want to let go of right now? Who do you want to let go of right now? And you can carry on with this for as long as you need to. And then when you're ready, going forwards and back like a wave again. Breathing in, out, in, out, in, out. Flow with the power. Flow with power. Notice how you're standing and moving in your body. Are there parts of your body that feel stronger or weaker, or more or less alive? And directing the power from stronger areas into the points which are needing it at the moment. So as you go back, pulling in all the way down and through, pulling in, and again shake, let go through your pelvis. And again, weaving across. And remember, it's in the repetition that you can go into deeper and more subtle layers. It's like you're kind of taking your body into trance, but you're still conscious. And through your body trancing, it then relaxes your mind. And then the doorways begin to open. So you might be finding that your body is quite hot by now. Don't worry, it's normal. Shooting the flames up just above your solar plexus to your xiphoid. Beginning to make a small connection from your lower heart into your xiphoid to your solar plexus. So we've got the flames coming up and the heart melting down. waving up, pushing up through your body, up, connecting your solar and your xiphoid, breathing out through the gap between your hands. And visualizing a cord of gold between your hands from your xiphoid. Closing your eyes and visualizing what does this cord look like or feel like. Is it connected to somewhere else? Is it fragmented? Is it completely cut in a clean way, in a kind of ripped apart way? Visualizing your hands creating that connection and asking that it's on a 5th dimensional frequency into the center of 5th dimensional source energy. Visualizing that connection growing, becoming wider, more solid. Remember being very clear to ask that it's a 5th dimensional highest frequency. And that you can activate this connection to draw on source at any moment that you need. Breathing in. So this isn't connecting to a person or a situation or a physical thing. This is on a higher dimensional frequency to our original source connection. With your fingertips, feeling the tingling and the lightness from that source, drawing it into your whole body, golden, shining, shimmering, luminous light. And asking your body and your energy systems to remember and activate your soul codes and your light codes and your DNA codes from a time when we were all oneness and all pure source. And then bringing your palms to the earth. And let me know how you get on with this. We're going into many realms as well as the physical, so I'm excited to hear from you. Okay, see you next time for Heart.